Alright, hello everyone. I have been warning everybody about this for the past couple of months, and I can really thank Charlton de Souza from Passengers United for first tipping me off about this many months ago. And of course, you all know that rant I made about the bus bunching in Fresh Meadows that I discussed this. And unfortunately, guys, now is the time that I have to discuss the awful, awful news that we're going to have no 6th Avenue line service on the F and M lines. Now, to go into details, this will start on Monday, August 28th, and we're looking at anywhere from January to March when this will all be done. So, this is all to replace the tracks, okay? But here's what I don't understand with the MTA. It's like they had all summer to do this. I said to everybody, well, let's do this in the summer. There's less people who ride the subway. It's whatever. So now, with the fact that we're coming up to a very busy time of the year, when we get to, let's say, November and December, when the F and the M are going to be utilized a lot, because you have the important subway stops of Rockefeller Plaza, Bryant Park, and Herald Square being utilized, now this is going to make it a little bit difficult. So, I'll get into some ways to navigate around the city if you need to, but it's not going to be good, guys. I'm just giving you all the heads up. So, without further ado, let's get into the situation at hand. So, they're going to be replacing a bunch of tracks between Manhattan and Queens. So, this is what we know right now. F trains are going to be rerouted between Manhattan and Queens in both directions, and weekday M trains will be partially suspended. F trains will run on the E line at all times in both directions between 47 50th Street, Rockefeller Plaza, and Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue. On weekdays, M trains will not run in either direction between Rockefeller Plaza and Forest Hill 71st Avenue and will terminate at 57th Street, 6th Avenue. Okay, so this is interesting here. So what I'm confused about, guys, is how is this going to work? How are they going to make the F train go from Rockefeller Plaza? Are they just going to make it go up the M track to 5th Avenue and 53rd Street? Because that's what I'm thinking they're doing here. So that's what I'm thinking. So let's pull up the subway map and let's use our imaginations, guys. I'm thinking now I know why there's going to be no M trains. Right. Now this all makes sense. So what I can do here, let me get my draw tool and we'll use our imagination. So I want to center this for you guys. All right, this is the best I can do it, okay? So now let's get the draw tool up. So I'm gathering this is what they're going to do. So I'm thinking from here what they're going to do is make the F train run here. Okay? That's where they're going to do this. So I'm thinking if you're going to run the F along the E line, you would have to make the F run to right. Then it would run to Lexington Avenue, 53rd Street. Correct. So, going to Lexington Avenue, 63rd Street. Correct. Then you'd have to go to Court Square, 23rd Street. Now, again, let's read this through. So, it's going to run on the E. Correct. It's going to have to run on the E line. So, if you're making the F run along that express track, that means you go to Queens Plaza and then moving this let's move this out of the way. Yes, there it is. Jackson Heights Roosevelt. So pretty much the F is going to have to run express on the E line until anywhere from January until you get to March. So you're thinking the first half of 2024 at this point. So at least it's not going to run, it's not going to run local. Imagine if it was running local. Now, if it was running local, oh boy, guys. Imagine the headaches that would do for everybody right there. Because that would be something you don't want. Not in that situation. So, in terms of the M line, let's read the M. So this will be from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. There will be no M trains between Rockefeller Plaza and either direction. Because again, the M's going to terminate at 57th Street. So there you go. Now I'm summarizing this, for an easier method here. Now as far as, how are you going to be able to get to 5th Avenue and 53rd Street? At least the F train is an option if you can navigate around it. Now, as far as what's the closest R train station from that area, the only recommendation I would say, if you're that desperate to get near the area around 53rd Street, if you are a local rider of the subway, the one thing I can recommend to do if you use the R train a lot, and it could be from, I would say, from any local station that doesn't serve the E and the F necessarily. What you could do is you could just change at Jackson Heights, or you could change at Queens Plaza. That would be an option. Not Court Square, because remember, our trains do not stop at Court Square. They go directly from Queens Plaza, and then they go right over to Lexington Avenue and 59th Street. Okay? So let's make sure we're on the same page here, guys. We don't want any confusion, that does not help us out. Okay? So now that we got that piece of the puzzle equated here, what about the other stations? Again, the R train is going to have to help you guys out for the next couple of months. So I know, no M trains. Oh no. That means we're all going to have to crowd on the R train. Unfortunately, yes. That is the bad news, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just the way it is. The only other option I can recommend would be the Q60, but then that only gets you as far as Elmhurst Avenue. So what are you supposed to do to get to these other stations? Again, you're going to have to deal with the R train. I know it's unfortunate, but again, they had all this time to do it. They really did. It just does not make any sense here. All right, I just don't understand the logic here. Why did they decide to do this now when they could have done this the past couple of months? The only other crazy thing is, look at this. They're offering a free Q95 shuttle bus between Queensbridge and Queens Plaza. So that's interesting. A free shuttle bus. So that might be something I could use to get. I guess maybe I can go to Astoria then. That could be an idea. Okay. There's something I could maybe consider. Because there's the bus that would get me to my favorite diner if I wanted to do that. Just as a hypothetical. Alright. So again. F will run between Queens and Manhattan on the E. Alright. So let's make sure we're on the same page here, guys. I know it's unfortunate. It had to come to that. But now, if I want to get to, let's say, Bloomingdale's, what am I supposed to do? You may be wondering, how would I get to Bloomingdale's? So I already would have to plan this out right now. So the way that I could get to Bloomingdale's, and knowing the area pretty well from what I'm going to make an assumption here. So again, you do have the shuttle. It's one option. So I guess I would have to end up taking that shuttle train because guess what? There's actually going to be a shuttle. So that's one option right there. And I'm going to figure this out right now. Don't mind me, I'm just looking up some stuff. So let's see what we can find here. Let's look up Bloomingdale's, guys. So I know that area pretty well. You know, I can wiggle my way out of this jam pretty easily. So I'm thinking if I look up the Bloomingdale's, and let's type in Bloomingdale's, and let's look up the one in Manhattan. Just as a scenario here, because I'm just figuring it out based on the shutdown here. So what I would have to do, and knowing this area around 59th Street pretty well, and knowing that you have Lexington Avenue and 59th Street as an option, and knowing that, A, here's Park Avenue, boom, there's Lexington Avenue. And I have pretty much figured this out on the fly, guys. With my transit smarts, I can pretty much get the hang of it here. So what I would have to do, I would have to go to Queens Plaza and then take the R train one stop to Lexington Avenue and 59th Street. Because knowing the fact that I can map this out pretty well, let's pull up the subways, guys. We're going to pull this up right now. Into the point. This thing could budge. Thank you. There it is. So, guys, I am not screwed. I am not screwed. So I at least have a way to get to Lexington Avenue and 59th Street. So I am not completely, impacted by directly not, making sure, hey, I know how to get back to where I want to grab lunch on 3rd Avenue later on. This would be in December. So I at least am not impacted directly by this. I was thinking, oh, this would be a doom and gloom situation. Well, I'm only taking the train to Grand Central Madison. Long Island Railroad's another option you can use. You do have Grand Central Madison, but keep in mind, you are going to have to use the city ticket or the $7 on-peak program, which is set to begin on August 21st. So there's another option you have there. So I'm not trying to, scare everybody off, guys. But, I'm just figuring it out, what can I do here? Now, as far as the shuttle is concerned, I'm trying to figure out where the information regarding the shuttle is. We're going to find it. Yes, okay. So, here's the shuttle. Okay. A special F-train shuttle will run every 20 minutes between Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street, Roosevelt Island, and 21st Street, Queensbridge. Now, the first week in October, I'll just give one more example to how I'm going to navigate this situation here. First week in October, what I am going to have to do to save a lot of time And I know this is a little bit controversial on my end because I go to that 99-cent fresh place in Times Square. I am going to have to go in between Bryant Park and Times Square. And then, because I know the Times Square station pretty well, I know how to walk underground on the Q tracks, which would get me right to 40th and Broadway. So at least I have another alternate, because normally I prefer to take the Q train from Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street. But why would I want to take a shuttle train that's going to make my trip longer when I know Manhattan Midtown pretty well? So, looks like this upcoming week, this is going to be the last time I'm going to have that convenient transfer to the Q train at Lexington and 63rd. So this week I'm going to have to make the most out of it because, oh man, guys, you know, given that I'm going to be going to Delmarva in a couple of weeks, and given the fact that I'm supposed to see my friend in Williston Park in a couple of weeks, because she's taking a trip to the Jersey Shore in August, and our schedules just work out, you know, I have to really plan this whole thing out right now, guys. I mean, I'm glad I'm doing a video about this today, because if I didn't show you guys my methods, then what am I supposed to be doing here, you know? So, if you're confused about it, just like I was originally, but given again, I know my way around this situation, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can, you know, map it out, figure it out from there, and then, you know, you're going to need a lot of patience to understand this, but I have the patience to understand this. Believe me, and you know what? I can, again, go on the fly, figure out what I need to do, and then just take it from there. Am I upset I'm going to have no direct service at Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street? No. No. I'm not going to get all upset, all just because, oh, I can't walk the extra blocks, when clearly I know for a fact when I'm going to Bloomingdale's in December, I already have a date set in mind right around Hanukkah this year. You know, I already have it planned out now. This helped me out. Alright? So instead of the MTA giving me agita, giving me this and that, you know, I at least know how I'm going to navigate this. I at least know now that the R train's going to help me out. Alright? And I would much rather take the E or the F to the R train, so that way I could save time and save a lot of money. Because I don't want to have to use the Long Island Railroad twice unnecessarily. You know? I already have another date in December when I'm going to go to Rockefeller Plaza and Bryant Park the same day. I've already planned that trip out, guys. It's already settled. So, with that being all said, we're going to wrap this up. Again, I'll have this link in the description below, and you guys can pretty much figure it out on your own if you're confused. But again, I'm not confused right now. I'm glad that this, you know, I was able to come up with my own little detour and my own little ways to figure out how I'm going to make this work out. Alright, guys? So, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you all for watching. And remember, August 28th, that will be a Monday, this will start. So, just pack some patience, and we're going to have to figure this situation all on our own, guys. So, that's it.